Chapter 1. We've arrived in the kingdom of Helmuth. Vermouth and his 4 companions have annihilated everything. Their goal is to defeat all demon kings, and they have already defeated 3. The other members of the team are the wise Sienna, a wizard, the believer Anise, the team healer, the brave Molin, the tank, and the stupid Hamel, our protagonist. Hamel regards Vermouth as his rival. They rule the kingdom together, but Vermouth is surprised by a monster. Hamel runs quickly and protects him, resulting in a piercing attack to the chest. Hamel is saying his final goodbyes to everyone. He is now a child, and his past life has been documented in a book. He retained his memories of his previous life when reincarnating. It has been 300 years since his death while on a mission to destroy the demon kings. Surprisingly, he reincarnated as the hero Vermouth's descendant. Hamel is now 13 years old and is known as Eugene Lionheart. Chapter 2. Although Vermouth had several wives, his only official lineage came from his wife. There are several branches of his lineage, but the indirect branches are not considered. Eugene shares the Lionheart surname but is descended from a different branch. They will compete at a lineage ceremony in the near future. Those from an indirect branch are prohibited from using a real sword or training the Manhwa. Eugene practices with a wooden sword. His father is concerned because Eugene does not resemble a child. He has a menacing stare and a dark aura. The lineage succession ceremony is tomorrow. It is a once every 10-year tradition. Both direct and branch lines are involved. From the main house, they select children aged 10 to 15. And they compete to see who has what it takes to be called Lionheart. However, unlike the branch, the direct line could train with real weapons and Manhwa. This is because they do not want someone descended from a branch to outperform those descended from the direct lineage. Eugene, on the other hand, is extremely gifted. His father feels bad about his lack of talent. The competitors will be 3 children from the direct line and 6 from the branch. The son from the first wife will be one of the direct line children, and the twins from the second wife will be the other 2. 2 of the branches have relatively more authority than the others. Eugene begins to recall his past, when he thought he was a genius, but he wasn't. The great Vermouth, praised by all and known as the god of war, was a true genius. His other sidekicks were also well known in their respective fields. Eugene is dissatisfied and wonders if the Demon King is still alive. Vermouth promised him in a previous life that he would kill the Demon King of imprisonment, and that peace has lasted until now, 300 years later. They finally make it to the Lionheart's main territory. Chapter 3. Eugene enters the kingdom. Only those in the direct line are permitted to wear an emblem on their left side. Eugene stays there, and there is a maid who will assist him with whatever he requires. Eugene requests that she show him around the gym. A boy and a girl with the emblem stand outside. These are the twins, and they are mocking him for his poverty. They both issue him a warning. The other boy peeks out, but is quickly apprehended by the girl. Eugene is honing his skills with a wooden spear. The maid is astounded by how it moves. The twins, Kian and Seal, arrive in the neighborhood. When Kian asks what he's doing, Eugene replies, "Can't you see I'm wielding a spear?" and calls him an idiot. Kian becomes enraged and demands that he apologize. Eugene apologizes, but Eugene is skeptical. They continue to fight him and ask him to clean the carriage he used. Eugene requests that the maid clean it. Kian begins yelling about why he is ignoring their order, despite the fact that he is Kian Lionheart. Eugene mockingly declares, "And my name is Eugene Lionheart." Seal Lionheart introduces himself as well. Kian is still angry because he disobeyed his order, so he picks up a wooden sword from the floor and invites him to a duel. Chapter 4. Eugene tries to refuse the duel, but Kian persists and becomes irritating. Finally, he agrees and begins to remove the weights. Kian is surprised by how much weight he had on his clothes and throws. The 2 take their positions, and Eugene easily takes Chow down in the blink of an eye. He makes him vomit, and his sister has no idea what happened and believes he trained the Manhwa. He claims that what he did was unfair, but in the end, he accepts it. A man named Keezer appears and offers to guide Kian. Eugene explains what happened when he is asked what happened. Finally, they decide to retire and leave. Another competitor will arrive tonight, and the rest will arrive tomorrow. Chapter 5. Kian told his mother what had happened. His mother is the second wife of Anacilia's direct line. She is furious that a commoner humiliated her son. Kian apologizes, but she slaps him and requests that Heezer take him away and train him. She tells Seal that if she had the chance, she would kill Eugene, but she would be the first suspect. The guardians of the family code would then arrive. He asks her to befriend him, and the next day the 3 collateral line heirs arrive. Their names are Deacon, 11, Hanson, 14, and Gees, 10. The family's head has also arrived, and everyone has gathered to greet him. They all meet, including the legal wife Theonis and the eldest son of the direct family. Iode Lionheart is also the first in line of succession. Gilade Lionheart appears, followed by his younger brother Guillaume. Gilade greets everyone and invites everyone to dinner. Chapter 6. They're seated at the family table, with only Gargis and Desera missing. They are highly regarded despite the fact that they are from a branch family. A man named Loberian from the Red Tower joins them. He is Siena's disciple, or rather the disciple of Siena's disciple. Siena ascended to Master of the Green Tower 300 years ago, becoming Aratha's youngest tower master in history. In Arath, she rebuilt the standard magic books. As a result, both the Green and Red Towers retain the wise Siena as their Grand Master. Gilade makes Kian apologize to Eugene while also complimenting Eugene. He is surprised to learn that Eugene trained virtually alone and thus defeated his son. They begin to eat, and afterward, they explain that the first test is a labyrinth. There are traps and monsters within the labyrinth. But the monsters are Loberian's illusions, even though he assured that they would feel very real. If they manage to defeat the labyrinth's boss, they will be able to pick a treasure from the Lionheart family treasure room. Dinner is over and Eugene is walking when he runs into Gargis and Desera. Chapter 7. They ask him if he really defeated Kian. He answers that he did and leaves. Eugene goes outside to train. Gargis and Desera arrive again. Desera challenges him to a spear fight since her specialty is spear fighting. Gargis will be the judge. The fight begins. Eugene blocks all the sattacks from Desera. Desera no longer knows what to do. After throwing multiple attacks, she thinks she found an opening, but is easily blocked, thus giving the victory to Eugene. Chapter 8. Gargis and Desera want to join forces with Eugene in order to defeat the direct line, as this has never happened. Anacilia wants to find a way for her children to survive. She hopes that Iode will be chosen by Loberian so that he will leave the family for a while. Her children will become stronger and take the first position of successor. The day of the test arrives. Loberian provides them with a magic that allows them to create the weapon they want. Each one made their own weapon. Then he gave them a necklace that helps them to know if they are in danger or want to get out of the labyrinth. They all enter the portal that leads to the labyrinth. Eugene is used to labyrinths as in his past life he went through many. Thus, has everything under his control. CAP-93 have already been disqualified, the others are still in the labyrinth. Loberian and Gilade are observing each of them. They analyze them and say what weaknesses they have. The eldest son seems more interested in magic, but he doesn't want to pursue that because of his mother. However, his father wants him to pursue his dreams. Loberian comments that his favorite story is Siena's. On the other hand, Gilade's most likely favorite character in the story was Hamel because he was shocked to see Eugene's ability. They were both speechless watching him fight. Chapter 10. Surprised they call him a genius, because that troll was a test to find out how he escaped, not to fight him. Instead, he defeated him easily. Gargis also manages to defeat him, but he was so wounded that he faints. Kian manages to escape from the troll and joins her sister Seal. Desera also appears and scares Kian. He scares her due to his scream. This was actually an ambush, but it failed, so she tries to run away. The two chase her all the way to the end, and by chance they reach the center of the labyrinth and the final boss is there. Eugene was already there in a corner, and asks why didst the three of them arrive together. I waited for them because I was curious about who arrived first. Chapter 11. Eugene was curious about who arrived first. Seal tells him it was him. What Eugene wants to do is give up the spot to them, because if he fights alone, he easily defeats him. He comments that it would be sad for them who struggled to get there. The monster does not attack if you are not within a certain distance. He suggests attacking it by order of arrival. Desera goes first, then Cyan and lastly Seal. Each one is going to fight alone. Eugene tells Desera that if she doesn't dare, she should surrender, but she doesn't. Cyan says if Eugene is going to fight, Eugene goes last, and if Cyan manages to defeat him, he will call Cyan Big Brother for the rest of his life. The final boss is a Minotaur. Desera is already face to face with the Minotaur. She starts the fight, but is easily overpowered. The Minotaur catches her and throws her away, thus ending the fight. It didn't attack her anymore since she is an illusion. Cyan's next. She turns his sword into ki. This technique requires 10 years of practice in the mana to be able to achieve it. His ki disappears because the one who created the labyrinth is Loberian, and he disabled the use of ski, so everyone is on equal footing. Cyan goes straight for the Minotaur. Chapter 12. Cyan manages to inflict small cuts on him, but they are not enough. He goes for its legs, but is blocked by the knee, then is caught and thrown, also missed. It's Seal's turn, but she prefers not to fight since she can't use ki either. It would be all in vain. Eugene thinks she is smarter than her brother. He picks up his sword and shield. The fight begins. Eugene climbs up the Minotaur's body. He dodges all his attacks and goes all the way up to his head. The Minotaur throws a fist towards his face, thus hitting himself. Then, Eugene begins to cut him in his neck, mainly in his artery. Managing to knock him down completely, thus winning the fight. Cyan is speechless and feels some kind of emotion, but it is not fear. Most likely it is admiration towards his power. The ceremony is over. Gilade is surprised, but especially Loberian, since he could easily defeat and go through his labyrinth as if it was nothing. Gilade sent several men to investigate Eugene's town, where he is well known for sure persistence in training. Gilade comments that he was born to fight. Loberian asks him if he doesn't mind that he is better than his sons. However, Escalade is happy because it will make the Lionheart name shine a whole lot brighter. Loberian continues to insist on what would happen if he decides to become the next Airsand, thus become the new leader of the Lionheart family. To which Gilade replies that the position of the head must be held by the best of the Lionhearts. If his family cannot secure it, Sid is rightfully his. Loberian proposes that Gilade adopt him as his son, to prevent the collateral families from causing unrest. Chapter 13. All the children gather except for the three who lost first. Gilade is wondering why they failed. Io didn't make it to the labyrinth because he was distracted by magic. Cyan and Seal made it, but didn't defeat the Minotaur. On the other hand, Eugene did everything perfect. Gilade congratulates them all, but especially Eugene. They all leave to rest, but Gilade asks Eugene to come with him. Gilade is about to hand him the treasure. Seal feels jealous as she has never been to the treasure room. As they are walking along, he talks about the talent he has when it comes to being able to use any kind of weapon. Currently in the Lionheart family, the sword is the forte, but in the past, Vermouth could use any type of weapon. He was called the God of War, Master of all. He also talks about how Vermouth was not the only one who was proficient with all weapons. The other was Hamel, also a great master only after Vermouth. They arrive at the place where all the treasures are. Eugene is the first person who is not the head of a family to come there. There is a senate where the old lions of Lionheart are. They are composed of direct branch family and indirect branch family. Only the most important ones are there. In the treasure room are heirlooms that have accumulated over hundreds of years. Among them are the heirlooms of the Great Vermouth. Eugene asks for the sacred sword, but it is not possible to obtain it since it is a symbol of the Lionheart family. Another reason is that after Vermouth, no other person has been recognized by the sacred sword. They open the chamber and Eugene enters excitedly and looks intently at the sacred sword. Chapter 14. The sacred sword is a sword that has existed since the origin of the sacred empire of Eurus. It is a sword given by God, only Vermouth has managed to wield it. With this same sword 300 years ago, she defeated the demon king of slaughter, the fifth highest entity in the infernal realm Helmuth. Eugene tries to pull out the sword, but ultimately, he cannot. Besides, even if he picked it up, he couldn't have it. So, he gives up and decides to go for something else. While looking, he finds Aspel, the sword of gluttony. The sword of gluttony is a sword that can consume the mana it cuts and turn it into its own power. It can cut a powerful spell with a single stroke. However, the reason Vermouth could use Aspel is that he was also an excellent wizard. It's too much for his current self, so he decides to keep looking. There are several weapons he is familiar with, such as, for example, the Draconian Carbo Spear. It takes a bit of time to heat it up, but it can throw flames at the level of a dragon's breath. The Wyneth Storm Sword. It is a sword that was blessed by the elemental spirit, king of the wind. The Bow of Unbridled Thunder, Pranoa. It is a bow that can shoot thunder, no matter the distance. The Flying Ayusari Sword, Jabal. It is a sword that, when you apply the mana to it, becomes into a whip with hundreds of blades. Gideon's Shield. It is a shield that can deflect all incoming attacks into a void. Eugene says they're all awesome and he wouldn't mind grabbing some of those. But he wonders if there will be more stuff. He doesn't see the Moonlight Sword or the Demon Spear. He thinks the easiest choice for now is the Wyneth Sword. Although, she prefers to keep looking a little longer. There are also gems and accessories, not just weapons. When he takes a good look, he grabs a necklace. That necklace was the one he had in his past life as Hamel. The memory of his parents, who were eaten by monsters. He wonders why it is there. Maybe Vermouth brought his body to his house. He is a little confused as to why Helmuth and two demon kings still exist. He wonders what promise they made by putting his memories there. Eugene doesn't want to blame them. He thinks there must be a reason why they couldn't kill the demon king. In the end, he decides to take his necklace from the past. He does not want Hamel's memory to remain in that vault. Gilade is surprised by Eugene's choice, since supposedly that crystal has no potential at all. Gilade thinks it's weird since that crystal isn't registered in the vault. He wants Loberian to analyze it to see what kind of spell it has. Since that necklace isn't a Lionheart treasure, Gilade lets him pick something else. He runs quickly and picks up the Wyneth Sword.